and think that it's reality.
Our dreams, they feel real while we're in them, right? It's only when we wake up that we realize something is actually strange.
Hello, Q-coders. Travis,
That
Danny,
threw
and
me
Alan
off.
here.
That was just not the beginning that I was expecting.
Here to whisk you away to Dreamland.
Dreamlandia.
In the Dream-isode.
I thought you were going to be like, I'm just saying, man, bring me a dream.
Dum dum dum, making the cutest.
Dream that I seen.
No, those aren't the words. Welcome into the Q-Code podcast, everybody. It is the bonus episode, the Dream-isode, that we love so much every week. Every Monday, we release these episodes so that you can just get a taste of what is in Daniel's mind when he falls asleep. And every week, he does not disappoint.
During the day, it's just mundane numbers and lists of chores. And at night is when my brain blossoms into Funville.
If you caught our last week's Dream-isode, that was one of my favorites to this date, and that was Pandemic, where Danny, if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it first. I mean, I guess technically you could listen to this first. It doesn't really matter. They don't go in order. But still, go back and listen to it still. It's a journey that takes Danny from going to work in the morning to it ends on a far-off planet in the
somewhere in the
universe fighting zombies. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. But this week, it's going to be quite different. It's going to be a little bit more earthly.
More localized, not as much interstellar travel.
We get a actually glimpse into some of his insecurities, maybe.
Jealousy.
Yeah. So
some dreams I'm super hero based. Others I'm insecure. This is one of those
insecure ones.
Shall we just say his psychoticness?
Yes, his psychoticness. But we are on volume 10, and the title to this one also with an exclamation point is freaking Luka Doncic. You will know that I cannot say this man's name.
Luka Doncic.
Doncic.
I mean, probably there's a good chance that a lot of you that are listening to this may not know who that is if you're not a sports fan. But
I am a sports fan, and when I first read this, had no clue who he was.
But he is a basketball player that plays in the NBA.
Yeah.
We'll
For what team?
The
Mavericks?
Dallas Mavericks.
Mavericks. Okay. Here we go. Dream-isode, volume 10. Freaking Luka Doncic. It's spelled Doncic. How? Doncic?
Doncic.
There is no T.
I know, but it's he's from
Ukraine.
Lithuania or
Russia.
I don't know, one of those countries.
Okay.
This is very politically incorrect.
Just like one of the Slavic countries?
One of those.
But I can't remember specifically which one right now. So we'll move on.
All right, here we go. I'm at my weekly karate class, practicing some premeditated steps. I look around to see that just about everyone in the class is a family member, a friend, or one of the kids on my junior jazz team that I coach. I'm happy you said that I coach.
I would dominate junior jazz. Actually, not really. I probably would lose.
Do you really think so?
I will. The kindergartners, yes.
There's probably some kids that are bigger than you are.
I could dominate all the way to like 4th grade. And then it starts getting a little iffy at that point.
So he's at this karate class with a bunch of friends, family, and all these kids from the junior jazz class or junior jazz team that he coaches. To make things even better, the sensei asks us if we'd like to watch the Jazz versus the Mavericks NBA game on the TV, mounted in the corners of the dojo, while we practice our karate moves.
Wait, Jazz versus who?
The Mavericks.
Well, how else would Luka Doncic get in this dream?
I don't know.
Everyone is excited about this, and the next several minutes are spent doing karate and watching the Jazz game. In the middle of the karate class, my wife, who is also taking karate, asks me who one of the players on the Mavericks is. I tell her that player in question is the new rookie phenom, Luka Doncic.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it's just Luka Doncic.
I'm going to say
Doncic.
it. I'm going to say it how I want to say it.
He's adding like 2 extra syllables. Doncic.
She tells me that he looks pretty good, and that she that she likes the way he plays. I tell her that he is pretty good and should be in the league for a long time. I just am picturing this conversation. Oh, he looks pretty good. Well, that's because he is. Okay.
Duh.
Those are
It's
his,
like like karate moves.
those are his karate moves in the middle. He is pretty good, okay? And he should be in the league for a long time. Watch my roundhouse kick.
Make me sound like I'm like freaking from that the Napoleon Dynamite. That's what you were picturing, wasn't it?
I'm so glad.
The guy who says,
so glad you got it.
the guy who says, your mom goes to college.
Yeah, his brother Kip.
Kip, that's who it is.
I need to ride into town. My lips hurt real bad. Okay, we could just go on that all day. Forget. All right.
How much you want to bet I could throw this football over the mountains?
That's one of the best lines. I tell her that he is really good and that he should be in the league for a long time. At first, I think it's kind of nice that my wife is taking a liking to a sport that I personally love. But then after a while of her going on and on about Luka Doncic, it starts getting more annoying than cute.
There's still spelling errors.
Then, eventually, after she won't stop talking about him, I get irritated and upset. Luckily, just then, the instructors of the karate class inform us that class is over. Ha ha! No. No more class means no more Luka Doncic on the TV.
Hang on, let me put these guns away.
It's like, all right, class, everyone can finish up and go over and get your shoes. Hold on, babe. I'm going to flip over there. Watch me tie my shoes.
That was me typing.
We normally put sound effects in here, but I don't think we need
Yeah, we're doing our own.
However, anyone who would like to try their hand at actually sparring can join them in the karate club located underground.
Was your karate club the Cobra Kai?
The Cobra Kai dojo? Well,
it's top
Because you
secret.
love cobras and cows.
So it
it's
was
called the Cobra Cow.
Cobra Cow.
The Cobra
Cobra
Cow.
Cow Dojo.
Cobra Cow dojo. So what they were at was at the above ground dojo.
That's where like the beginners are.
Yeah. But if they want to spar, they can go to the underground dojo.
It's like the Fight Club.
Yep.
That's what I
Rule
was
number
gonna say.
1. We do not talk about the underground dojo.
Rule number 2.
Do not talk about the underground dojo.
And rule number 3, cows are welcome.
And rule number 4,
cobras.
snacks are always appreciated.
Next week, we will be holding a potluck. I'll bring the Jell-O with carrots in it.
Ew.
Sick.
I don't know why anybody thought of that, but most everyone in the class was game for some sparring and followed the sensei and his instructors out the front door and down the block a ways. Eventually, the class walked up to an area of the sidewalk that was blocked off with construction barrels and tape placed around an open manhole. The instructors lifted the tape and told everyone to jump into the manhole and slide down. After a few people had jumped down, it was my turn. I jumped in to find that I'm immediately engulfed in a silky nylon filling inflatable tube. Remember, I read it how I think you mean it.
Immediately engulfed in a silky nylon feeling inflatable tube.
I can't see much.
That you're sliding down?
I just,
Yeah.
okay, so just the way that you said it, I'm immediately engulfed in a silky nylon feeling inflatable tube. I just think you like jumping in and just getting all cozy as you're like sliding down. You're just like, oh, so nice. so silky and
So
nylon-y.
Like the same stuff that those big waving things are, like in front of car dealerships.
Yeah,
like,
that get your attention.
Yeah.
Those wavy men, whatever.
so was this tube to like kind of slow you down enough that you don't kill yourself by jumping down? Like it's
I'm
like
not
it's
I'm not positive, but I think I try to explain that shortly.
oh,
I can't see much, as the only way I can see is to push a portion of the inflatable tube that is right in front of my face back to create a little bubble that I can move my head around. That is really well described. Very, very well. Good description of that. I can definitely picture that in my head. The only way down is to slowly scooch yourself down the inflatable tube by pulling and pushing yourself forward.
It's really a pain in the butt, is what it is.
Well,
it's like you're being digested by a snake.
yeah.
Or
Pretty
something.
much. But I have to do the actual work.
Dare I say a cobra snake?
Slowly scoot yourself down the inflatable tube by pulling and pushing yourself forward while constantly moving the puffy nylon out of your face. I don't know if this tube was installed for safety reasons or to conceal the pathway to the secret advanced karate dojo. I bet you it was the latter. After a few minutes of pushing my way through the inflatable tube, I emerged out of the bottom and followed others.
Is this how Mario and Luigi feel when they go through the tubes?
That is not
so cozy.
That is that's not the sound it makes. It's
Wait,
not-
you do it.
You're going up.
Well, that's, yeah. If they go up, if they go down, they go.
No, it's the same sound. I'm pretty sure. But
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm going to, when I'm editing this, I'm going to add the actual sound, so we'll be able to compare.
after a few minutes of pushing my way through the inflatable tube, I emerged out of the bottom like a newborn. Just kidding, you didn't say that, but and followed others who had materialized. Everybody materializes down a hall that looked to belong to an old subway station or something.
It's like the crappy version of the Star Trek transporter. It's just, guys, go through this nylon tube.
We
And we'll say we were transported
we're not
and
advanced enough
materialized
yet.
on the other end.
It's got all these nylon burns.
It's just one of those things you got to deal with in this advanced age.
Not too far ahead was the karate club in which real sparring took place. As we walked up, we each had to check in and get ready for our individual sparring matches. Once inside the club, I started looking around for my wife as I wanted to talk to her for a minute about her growing obsession with Luka Doncic. The club looked a bit different than expected, as it was set up more like a restaurant than an actual dojo. There were people sitting around at various tables and booths. Enjoying drinks.
Is that how you say it?
Booths.
Instead of booths.
Booths. Enjoying drinks.
Where would you like to sit, sir? I like a booth.
You think that's funny, but it is a perfectly good way to say it. That's not actually how I say them, but enjoying drinks brought to them.
Some water from the crick.
The crick and drink it at the booth. Enjoying drinks brought to them by servers. After a while, I realized that my wife isn't in the club and am angry because I wondered if she was headed to the arena that the Jazz were playing in to try and talk to Luka Doncic.
It's frustrating. Have you
How, that is the only explanation if you can't see her down in the sewers. Well, my wife is not down in the sewers, so she must be on her way to talk to Luka. However, while I was walking around looking for my wife, I stumbled across an area of the club that was pushed back a bit from the main floor of the club. It really looked like it was once used as a stage in a previous iteration of this space, as it was raised off the ground a few feet and spanned back 30 feet or so. It wasn't the stage that had me transfixed, however, but the makeshift bowling alley that they had set up on the stage. Although it wasn't much like an actual bowling alley, but a makeshift alley. Did you already say that?
Did I? Did I say it twice?
Okay, hold on. It wasn't the stage that had me transfixed, however, but the makeshift bowling alley that they had set up on the stage. Although it wasn't much like an actual bowling alley, but a makeshift alley for a slightly different sport.
I really wanted to drive home the point
that it was makeshift. There were 5 rugs, all about 20 feet long and 3 feet wide, that were rolled out vertically along the stage. At the end of each rug was a 3-tier tapered shelf that held a bunch of ceramic vases that were each chock full. I think it's chuck.
I always say chock full.
I thought it was chalk.
Is it chock full?
Yeah, that's what I always say.
What does that mean?
Medium? I'll be looking that up, guys.
Chock full?
It's chock full of something.
Each ceramic vase was chock full of Asian-themed decorative sticks. I watched as people rolled bowling balls down the carpet toward the vases. The object of the game seemed to be one in which the bowlers were trying to knock over as many vases full of decorative sticks as possible. This is basically bowling.
But it was like vertical bowling almost.
It's like,
because they're like stacked on shelves that were tapered upward.
so you take a bowling ball and you roll it down the alley and you try and knock over whatever's at the end. So bowling, nah, man, this is a makeshift bowling alley for another sport.
Because you're bowling on rugs.
You're bowling on rugs and you're trying to
towards
knock down.
vases with decorative Asian sticks.
This looked like fun to me. So I proceeded to get in line to wait for my chance to bowl for vases. Vases.
Vases?
Unfortunately, the line moved very slowly, as this time was played with a very manual process. Instead of having machines setting up new pins, or in this case vases, after each bowler took their turn, A man dressed from head to toe in ancient traditional Asian garb with their faces painted ghost white would come out of a miniature door carrying new vases full of sticks and replace those that had been broken on the previous roll. What a horrible job.
Was that descriptive enough, though, for you?
Yes.
I can picture it.
Oh, vase man.
We have had another bowl of roll.
Be a dear and replace those sticks and vases. I didn't have much else to do at the moment, so I remained in line waiting patiently for my turn to roll the ball. Just when I was next in line to bowl, the rules of the game suddenly seemed to change. I watched as a person in front of me was no longer handed a bowling ball to roll towards the shelf of vases, but was instead handed a pair of chopsticks. I looked up to see that the 3-tier shelves carrying the vases were also gone and were instead replaced with the men dressed in the ancient traditional clothing. Each of those men were holding a vase full of Asian decorative sticks. What are these sticks? Can you explain to me what Asian decorative sticks are?
So they were like about 2 feet long, and they were, I don't know if I'm trying to remember if they're like bamboo sticks or something like that. But I do remember that they each had like little stickers around them that were like flowery patterned. And
Floral.
Yeah. Floral pattern. Is that?
They were flowery powder.
And that's what made them Asian.
Yeah, okay.
So wait, chock full. It's chock CHOCK full.
So not like
not
how
like
you wrote.
chalk.
Chalk. It's not chalk full.
It's like cock.
Not like powder.
Or like caulk. What? Isn't that how you spell caulk? That stuff that you like seal windows with.
I know what you're talking about. Why'd you say cock?
It just came out wrong. I tried to say caulk.
It's like cock full. My pants are cock full.
That's how you use it in a sentence.
But chock full comes from Middle English. The word choke full, I don't know if that's how you say it, meaning crammed full, possibly choke, meaning the word cheek. Back then, choke, cheek. So basically cheek full.
Oh.
That
So,
doesn't
maybe
clear
like
it up
a-
at all, though.
Like
If
a
you're-
chipmunk.
Cheeks are
Cheek full.
full. There's a high probability you will choke, I guess.
Oh.
All right. Each of those men were holding a vase full of Asian decorative sticks in their hands that were outstretched to the sides of their bodies at full arm's length. They also each had one vase full of sticks balanced on top of their heads. I watched as the person in front of me ran at full speed down one of the rugs, jumped and flipped over one of the vase-carrying men, and snatched as many of the decorative sticks out of the vases as he could with the chopsticks before landing on the ground. This is an impossible game.
Not for this guy.
It will always end in someone saying close, but no cigar.
I just want to know, it's like, this isn't even near close to the game that you were so interested in at first.
That's why I was frustrated, because they just changed it.
The only
right?
thing that is the same is the vases and the sticks, but
And they left the rugs there.
and the rugs.
And the men were still there, just now they were holding the vases.
So once he landed, he handed the sticks to an employee acting as the official announcer for the game. The employee held up a bunch of sticks and announced that the gentleman had successfully grabbed 20 decorative sticks out of the vases before landing. Also, very impossible.
This guy was really fast.
Hence, he has a score of 20. Each stick counts as one stick.
Yep. That is true. That is the rules of the game.
I could hear
Unless
everyone.
you had like 20 arms, so that every time you grab 2 sticks with an arm, you're also immediately using that arm as chopsticks to grab more sticks.
What?
He's figuring out a way to cheat the system. However, I don't know how you could cheat a system such as this. But I could hear
You just have to have 20 arms.
I could hear everyone in the room clapping and cheering at his impressive score. I was up next and stood there thinking for a moment. I decided that this was going to be too hard to beat a score of 20 and just left the line to go back and join my family. He's like,
Even in my dream, I know when to quit. All right.
he's like King Arthur on the Holy Grail when he finally gets to Camelot. He's like, on second thought, let's not go to Camelot. 'Tis a silly place. It's like him. He's just like, on second thought, I don't want to play this game. 'Tis a silly game.
Gotta know when to hold them. know when to fold them.
I walked back to the booth that my family was sitting around and saw that my wife had finally arrived. I expressed my frustration with her for disappearing like she did and asked her where she went. She responded to my question by saying, "I'm hungry. I think I'd like a sandwich from Jimmy John's for dinner."
Oh, she's changing the subject.
There's always something going on.
Would you mind picking up sandwiches for the family on your way home? At that moment, I conceded, figuring I'm not going to get an answer out of it.
Immediate. Man, he's giving up easy.
Been like,
I feel like this is a reoccurring theme.
that is not my question. I said, where were you? Not, what do you want to eat for dinner?
Are you hungry?
I'm not going to get an answer out of her and ask her what kind of sandwich she would like. I remember where this is going. She tells me that she would like the Italian sandwich. This pisses me off, of course, because I know Jimmy John's has just nicknamed the Italian sandwich the Luka Doncic.
But why? Is he Italian? I don't know. He was Slavic or something like that.
Well, in this dream, he's
I
Italian.
guess there is no like Slavic sandwich. There's no like Ukrainian sandwich.
I'm now seething and officially hate Luka Doncic. I stomped off and got into my car to drive to the mall at which the Jimmy John's I frequent is located at. See,
Just too
in
many
that
words.
type of a sentence, you cannot. You formed it in the way that you didn't have to end it in a preposition. Okay, so what you should. I stomped off and got into my car to drive to the mall at which the Jimmy John's I frequent is located. You do not need the at. You've already explained that it is in the mall.
Wait, what's the original way he wrote it?
Like
Car to
English
drive.
is my second language. We've talked about this.
It is not. Got in the car to drive to the mall at which the Jimmy John's I frequent is located at. The mall has underground parking. And as I leave my car, I look over to see what floor I'm parked on, so I know where to go when I head back. I confirm with myself that I am on the Green Pacific Islander level.
It's important because you don't want to get lost on the way back.
They're just like you know how they have like the things on the pillars?
Yeah, that's what I
It's
was
just like
looking
a
at.
picture of a Pacific Islander, but he's green.
So is each level like a different race of person?
Guess. Like, I mean, it seemed normal in my dream,
It's like,
but
I'm on the black man. It can't just be the green level. It has to be the Green Pacific Islander level.
because maybe there's multiple green levels.
Why would there be?
I don't know. That's ask them all, people. But I just remember it was I knew it was the Green Pacific Islander level because I looked up at the pillar and it had a green strip on it. And then above it was a little pictorial of a green, like Maui from the movie Moana. And he was just standing there.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall in his dreams.
So it's like, Green Pacific Islander. Okay.
I then head up to the escalator to the floor that Jimmy John's is located on and walk into the sandwich shop. I ordered turkey sandwiches for the kids, a freaking Luka Doncic for my wife, and a double roast beef sandwich for myself. Pick up the order and walk back to my car. As I'm driving home, I get the brilliant idea of switching my sandwich out for my wife's to get back at her for disappearing earlier in the day. She doesn't like roast beef, and I don't want her eating the stupid Luka Doncic sandwich.
I sound super vindictive.
He's just scheming on his way home. Oh, I got an idea. I'm going to switch the sandwiches, see? Because my wife doesn't like roast beef. She'll eat it and she'll hate it, see? What a good idea I have.
It's a foolproof plan.
When I got home, I placed my roast beef sandwich down at her spot on the table and sat down at my spot to watch this prank all go down in real time. Just see him just sitting there, just staring at her, kind of rubbing his hands together. Like, all right, Liz, now you get yours.
She's like, so how was your day? Dan's just like, why don't you eat up and we'll tell you.
A few seconds later, my wife came in and sat down at the table, unwrapped the sandwich, and took a bite. How does your sandwich taste? I ask her. Fine, she says, and continues eating my sandwich. I literally sit there and watch her consume my entire sandwich, wondering when she'll notice that she's not eating the Italian sub she ordered. After she took the last bite of my sandwich, it dawned on me that the only person my prank was punishing was myself, as I was now without the sandwich I had ordered and wanted. This is the irony in it, is that it is now you that has to eat the Luka Doncic. But it seems as good as a good a place as any, because this is when I woke up. So much anger.
Pranks backfire even in your subconscious.
I could see Liz knowing exactly what you were up to and doing. So in her mind, it was like a game of chicken. Like, fine, this is what he wants to do.
I'll freaking eat it.
I'm gonna muscle this roast beef down. So he has to eat the Luka Doncic.
It's one thing that Trav and I probably should know is just we're always one step behind our wives. Yeah, we think we're getting one over, but we're not.
Although this isn't, I don't think I've gone as far as trying to deviously switch sandwiches on purpose.
And then just watching the whole time.
Like, how's that roast beef?
I would be giving it away.
How's that Italian sub?
Is it Italian for you?
My roast beef's delicious. All right. Well, just
I came across as like a freaking nerd in this one.
Hey man,
You were at the karate class.
You compared me to Napoleon Dynamite, and then the guy from Dumb and Dumber.
hey, the shoe fits, man.
I mean, you're telling me there's a chance.
All right. Well, to finish up, we always like to take a few words and plug them into the dreammoods.com database and try and see what comes back. And so here we go on that. If you dream about karate, that suggests that you need to direct your energy and concentrate them toward your goals. Okay. Basketball. Oh, I was like, when did you actually dream about basketball? But it was okay.
It's on the TV.
It's on the TV. Suggests that you need to make the first move. You also need to concentrate and focus on your goals. So many goals so far. If you dream about men in Asian garb holding vases and Asian sticks, you need to focus on your goals. Just kidding. If you dream about anything underground, it indicates that you are trying to force certain thoughts and issues into your subconscious mind. A slide, is that what you think
That's what
The nylon
thing is?
slide.
Indicates that you are experiencing some instability in your waking life. Why does a slide mean that you have instability in your waking life? Because
things are starting to slide
slippery
downhill.
slope, maybe. I guess.
Things are
I don't know.
sliding downhill
You just
for you.
Once you're sliding, like it's back to momentum, right?
Yeah.
Once you pop, you just can't stop.
If you dream about a stage, represents your behavior, manipulation of, and relationships with others. If you dream about a bowling alley, it's a metaphor for sexual conquest. Wow.
I know. I was surprised.
Consider the sexual innuendos that are at play in the bowling alley. The pins and bowling balls can be viewed as masculine symbols. The pin deck is symbolic of the womb or vagina. That is pretty out there.
I've bowled many a game in my life, and not once have I ever been like, this reminds me of a little bedroom time.
Just like going bowling, just good old family, wholesome time, and you're sitting there and you're like, hey, honey, you thinking what I'm thinking?
How can you not? With the pins, the balls.
Those bowling pins. What do you think those are? What about the
Bowling ball.
What about the pin deck? I'd like to explore your pin deck. That could get us really far down a hole. That's like pun not intended. Pun not intended.
You seem to like always stumble across these things at the end.
Not
of these
my
dreams.
fault. It's the paper.
My balls are so heavy.
They're 15 pounds each.
15 pounders.
If you dream about a vase, symbolizes. What? If you dream about a vase, it symbolizes the womb and all things feminine. You are open to criticism or suggestions.
You are cramming those vases chock full of sticks. You're cramming.
I'm
the
pretty
womb.
sure we don't need these words, this website to tell us what you are feeling at the moment.
And he even accidentally said cockful.
And it shows you just kind of where he stands at the moment because he just realized that it was a futile thing and it just wasn't going to happen.
Just walk away.
So to see a vase broken represents past, forgotten, or lost love. If you dream about chopsticks, if you're using the chopsticks for its unintended function, then it suggests that you are in a sticky situation. Did they mean that? Because chopsticks are sticks. Sticky situation.
Sticky.
And if you dream about a sandwich called the Luka Doncic, It suggests that a lot of pressure and stress is being put on you. It also reflects your ability to do two things at once. Alternatively, a sandwich is just a sandwich sometimes. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
I think that should be the end of every single word. Alternatively, a slide is just a slide sometimes. Because that's...
I saw, like, I was looking at the description and I was like, Trav's going to love this one.
I do. Because that's what I think of most dreams.
A bowling deck is just a bowling deck and not a vagina, you pervert.
Yeah. Perverts.
It's a pin deck.
Pin deck.
Pin deck. That is the Dream-isode for this week. Freaking Luka Doncic! And we hope you enjoyed it. It was a pretty good one. It was short, which is good. But
than the norm.
yeah, well, I'd like to take this time to just remind everybody to catch us on all of our social medias at QCO Podcast, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Go check out our website at qcopodcast.com, and there you will find a link to this to this Dream-isode, and you will be able to go in. If you think that there needs to be more to this dream, please go and comment in there. Tell us what you think the end should be.
Like Alan already let us know that Liz knew the whole time that my sandwich prank was going down and that she was just messing with me. So you could expand on that, or you could come up with your own narrative.
Yep. Don't forget to leave us 5 stars if you are enjoying this. And then also head on over to YouTube, where we do have a page there, and go and click subscribe. Most of them are just our audio
Channel.
Our channel, that's what it is. Not a, what did I call it?
Page.
It's our channel. Most of them are just our episodes, but we do have a couple of videos on there, and we will be putting more videos on there as well. So we would like your support if you would be so inclined.
If you enjoy these, just it's something that would help us a lot.
Yeah.
Go a long way. So
Click subscribe and click on the bell so you know when we have new videos and posts there. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we can't wait to see you next week.